All right, we turn now to education on this Thursday morning. Demands to restrict policing at schools are growing. Police officers patrol the hallways of half of American schools. Their presence comes with little vetting or even oversight, and frankly, students of color are disproportionately targeted. The documentary On These Grounds takes a deeper dive into the troubling history behind South Carolina's disturbing schools law, and also the current fight to get policing out of schools after a troubling video showing police brutality went viral back in 2015. Let's take a look at a clip.
Social media circulating a new video of alleged abuse by an officer. It's a little bit difficult to watch.
It was Monday morning. I was like, yo, get your cameras, get your cameras.
Shocking confrontation witnessed by a classroom full of students.
It is disturbing to say the very least.
We're dealing with the generation of kids who do not respect authority.
How could they let me go to jail for that?
And joining us now is the director of On These Grounds, Garrett Zevgetis, and the founder of Every Black Girl, Vivian Anderson. Good morning to you both. Thank you so much for being with us on this Thursday morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Melvin.
It's a pleasure to be in conversation with you. This documentary was so powerful and so impactful to me. I have so much to talk to you guys about. I'm going to hop right in. Garrett, I want to start with you. I'm curious, when you saw that video in 2015, what goes through your mind, and why did you decide to really move to action to create a project like this to really stir conversation?
And anger went through my mind, and frustration, and just how he could rationalize that. And I wanted to just right away, I wanted to confront him. And so I also, the fact that he could rationalize it is what, really blew me away. So I ended up getting to know him, but I went in with an open mind, even though I knew that there was no rationale for what he did. But I wanted to understand what his thinking, his rationale was, because just 50% of people asked in South Carolina blamed the student, not him. And I know people that did the same. So I wanted to really dig into what that rationale was.
I think it's just really important what you did, because many of us saw that video, but you took your feeling and turned it into action. Vivian, you did the same thing. You're at home in New York. You see what happened to these young women. You leave your home and you go to support them, to stand with those young women.
Yeah, I think there's no words. For me, we were doing so much work. I was with Black Lives Matter. We were doing so much work when it came to when a child didn't wake up the next day, right? Mm-hmm. But what was it about? Like, there was something that was like, and like I speak in the video, the documentary, is that I knew that moment, right? And I just wanted these girls to know they were going to be loved and supported. And also, like they say, if you see something, do something. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't just do something and say something anymore. I had to get up and do something. And I didn't know what my doing looked like. I just knew I wanted to go hug two girls and let them know that they are okay and they're not alone. And now I'm here with Every Black Girl, and I'm in South Carolina.
Yes, you are. And I love the work that you're doing with Every Black Girl. There was this moment where you said you're like giving them permission to dream, and you're showing them that their dreams matter. There is this really moving moment where you sit down with Ben Fields, that school resource officer, and you engage in a no-holds-barred conversation. What was your takeaway, and was there anything that surprised you?
Surprised me. Let me be very clear.
Okay.
Because I was ready for, I'm sorry, I talk the way I talk.
No, come on.
I was ready for the pop off. I was ready, like, man, who was going to go at it? But something came over me, and it was really one of those moments like, are we here to be upset about the problem, or are we here to create a solution? And me and him going back and forth will not create solutions. I was able to see the humanity in him. And so he thought it was about him. And I was like, no, it ain't about you. It's through you. But there was a system that created you. And that's the piece that me and him constantly go back and forth with, where it's just like, he thinks this system is a made up thing. But I'm like, no, it's real. And let's talk about we're not blaming you, but there's a responsibility that you hold in that moment.
Yes.
And there's a responsibility that you hold so this moment won't happen again. And so I was surprised that I could actually engage in that way, and then spend a full year being in communication in relationship with him. So I'm not
Yeah.
just going to say communication, but in relationship with him. So I think that surprised me the most, where whatever this moment and when we're saying we want to dismantle, there's so many steps to get there.
And
Am I willing to take all the steps?
And conversation is so much a part of that. I thank you both for being
Yes.
with us today. I wish we had more time because there's so much more I want to talk to you about, like why the officer even came in the classroom in the first place to deal with that young lady, because I was a former
Yes.
educator. But we got to go to a break. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Everybody see this. It's so powerful. We'll be right back. This is Your Morning on Spectrum News 1.